All right, listen, Charles Barkley, I'm sure, will be pilloried and vilified for preaching common sense, but I think he's dead right. I think that when I look at Kevin Durant and LeBron James using their platforms to attack the presidency, and President Trump, who, I think we're all in agreement he's a reality TV star that's in over his head as the president. I think we all agree with that. But I don't need tall basketball players being the front men for criticism of the president. There's no other race that elects tall athletic people to be their spokesman on social issues. And again, I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth because Charles Barkley's a tall athletic person, but mostly he talks common sense, and he's not trying to be the front man for a movement or electing himself as some sort of spokesman. Every other ethnic group, particularly among their wealthy, and these athletes are wealthy, they use their resources to financially support smart people to represent them, or people that are specialized in politics to represent them. We are electing our tallest and most athletic people to represent us, and we look foolish doing it.
Well, I never want to stop freedom of speech, but I do think that they should be careful, because I think a lot of times the people who are talking tend to think one way, and the people who think the other way don't speak out as much. And I think that's why a lot of us were surprised that Donald Trump was elected in the first place. Mm-hmm. So you have to take into consideration that not everyone thinks like you. And when we're criticizing the president, listen, he is the president. Mm-hmm. That's just a fact. So I would rather go in the direction of trying to unite than continuously attack. And I think if we can come at it at a place of more of love and understanding than attacking, it will probably be heard better from everyone. But I also don't want to knock a player for using his platform to speak out about something he feels passionately about. Just be careful and thoughtful in doing it.
Okay, two things here. Charles is a good friend of mine. We agree on some things. We disagree on a whole lot of other things, okay? Charles is talking about taking down monuments. That's different than having a conversation or having an opinion about the president, okay? So what qualifies one to criticize and someone else not to be able to criticize? Because if I have an opinion, that's my opinion. The only difference is, when you look at LeBron James and you look at Kevin Durant, is that they are high-profile athletes who have a camera and a mic in front of them, and the question is posed, and they're giving their opinion, and their opinion happens to be critical. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with it, but there is also value in an informed, objective, fair opinion. And there is value in having the self-awareness. Because let's look around at all the other athletes of other races. How many of them, are there great numbers of them trying, I'm a spokesman on these issues, and everybody takes them seriously? There's a handful of athletes. Bill Bradley years ago became a politician of some prominence. But most other athletes have enough self-awareness to know, that ain't my lane. That's not my area of expertise.
Why would we tell anyone what their lane is?
But I know it's go ahead. My problem with that is, okay, people will say to me, even on Twitter sometime, you're a football player. Why are you talking about politics? Why are you talking about this? Don't insult my intelligence, because you have no idea what my level of education is. You have no idea how much knowledge I've acquired, how much understanding I've acquired, so that I can apply wisdom to what it is that I'm talking about. Don't put me in a box, because I'm not just a football player. I'm a whole lot more than just a football or ex-football player.
Okay, but Seth, I would ask this of any athlete. I ask it of myself. Are there people far more qualified who know far more that can speak on these issues? Again, I get these athletes well-intentioned, but why not support Dr. Boyce Watkins, Umar Johnson, somebody who's devoted to these issues?
The only thing that makes you more qualified is your level of intellect and your level of knowledge on the subject.
Absolutely. And so when we talk about athletes, when I look at football players, they're under a helmet. You look at the most visible sports arenas. You got baseball, basketball. You look at LeBron James, his influence is probably tops when it comes to athletes. So for him to step out and voice his opinion, I think it's huge. Kevin Durant right there underneath. But the one thing I will say, to your point, Kristine, is when we talk about freedom of speech, yes, you can say what you want to say. But my mama taught me to respect every man, to respect every woman. And so for Kevin Durant to say, and please don't misunderstand me, I agree with what Kevin Durant is saying, but his word choice, and sometimes I fall into that same category of, man, I used the wrong word. The respect, I don't respect who's in the presidency. That's a whole different space right there. You can disagree with everything that he's put in place, his policies, everything. You can disagree, but don't say you're trying to create change, but then I don't respect you, because you want people to respect you. So once you use that word respect, I don't respect him, that's discounting your whole statement right there.